Hi there, it's Tony and Chris.
The Voice, one of the biggest shows on television, Blake Shelton's last season.
Oh, can you believe it? Coming up a little later on this show, we're very excited to be welcoming a former member of Team Blake, Angie K, Angie Kielhauer. You may remember her from season 10. She's out there doing it on her own, independent artist, and putting out some great country music, and we're going to catch up with her and get all the scoop. And in this interview, you got to stick around and watch it. There is a huge realization where we find out we've got a big connection.
It's huge.
And we're really excited to talk to her about that. So that's coming up in just a bit. Hang in there. Stay with us. Who is ready? The holidays it's counting down, and I don't know why. It seems like the older you get, the faster you run downhill to the end of the year like this.
Well, it's funny. I just watched a Cheers the other night with Kirstie Alley passing away, and the Cheers was Sam goes, "Boy, it seems Christmas comes earlier every year." And Woody's like, "Sam, if you check the calendar, I think you'll see it's on the 25th every year."
Jimmy Kimmel did a thing the other night, and I love when he does this. When like news stations around the country all have the same little crutch they lean on, and
yes,
he just had it all edited together of all these people going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's December already. Oh, it's December already. Can you believe it's December?"
Yeah.
Very funny.
That's one of the behind the scenes things about radio. There's services, they send out prep or ideas for you to talk about during radio shows. And that's the reason why sometimes you can punch from station to station to station and hear the same thing of, we thought it'd be funny to find out, have you ever had something funny in the refrigerator? That just goes to everybody in the country.
Yeah, and we've all been guilty of it.
Yeah.
But I love it when it's those lines. It's like,
yes, they're verbatim.
Verbatim, really something else. Well, with the holidays, you usually get the feel-good movies. They start pouring out around this time, and then the commercials. The commercials are always incredible, and they always get you right in the feels. Now, back in the day, you didn't have any feels.
No.
But now you've developed feels.
No, I don't like it. I'm trying not to. But it's those commercials this time of year. Like I talk about that Elton John one. That was like 2 minutes going back in time through his career to the first time he hit a piano note.
Such a good one.
Oh, well, now there's one. And, my baby girl, Lily, just turned 13.
Oh, a teenager. How exciting. Yeah. You'll be crying. Don't trust me.
There's an Amazon commercial now where at the beginning of it, she picks up the daughter picks up a frame, and it's the mother and the dad and her. Well, the mother's clearly not in the picture anymore. And
left him?
Yeah. And then there's a snow globe next to it. And she takes the snow globe with her everywhere. Like they have to buckle it into the seatbelt. He has to take it from her when she goes to school, that sort of stuff. And then he just takes, if you see the long one, he takes a couple of minutes going to the neighbors, and he's getting trash, paper. He buys from Amazon. It's an Amazon commercial. He buys a shredder. You don't know what he's doing. Well, he takes a greenhouse and basically builds a life-size version of that snow globe. And she walks in, and it's like, oh!
I don't know. It's tough. And I'm not sure. I think you probably be 50-50 depending on if you are a parent. Like, for some reason, dads and their daughters, those connections are so strong. But then the father-son thing, too, I'm not sure which is worse. I've got daughters and sons, and I get emotionally affected by stuff on both sides of that coin. There's some great classics, too, that they always roll out this time of year. That Folgers commercial where the son sneaks home to surprise the parents, that always kind of gets me. And I'm blown away, too, by how much people love nostalgia and how we're all creatures of habit. And this is not a feel-good commercial. It's just one that comes up every holiday. The Hershey Kisses one.
Oh, yeah.
Where the kisses play like little bells. And a few years ago, they tried to change it. They changed the song or something, and people went bananas. How dare you change this? This commercial sucks. And Hershey's were like, we're sorry, and had to go back to the original.
That's crazy. That's kind of like when Coca-Cola used to do the polar bear thing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, some classics work, and you got to keep them in there. I mean, when it's as engaging as the polar bears.
Yes.
I never understood that one, but hey, that's cool. And then as far as forget commercials, let's talk about this movie trailer you saw.
Oh, again, feel good.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson, I love. I think he's great in everything he does. There's a movie coming out called Champions, and it's not what you think it's going to be. You watch it, and it's clearly going to be a feel-good movie, but it looks funny and feel-good. And it's Woody Harrelson, and he is an NBA coach that gets fired and put in charge of assisting a basketball team to get to the Special Olympics. And it looks fantastic.
We're going to link it at the end of the show so you can check it out. I watched it on your recommendation. I cannot wait to see this movie.
That girl, when she's like, you do you.
Yeah.
I'm
What's
like,
with the boogie board?
Yeah.
What I'm blown away by and what I'm really happy about is, when directors like the Farrelly brothers, they started their career doing, gross out kind of comedy and that kind of, and it was, it's fine. I have no problem with their movies, but I love how they have grown and how they have stretched what they want to do, because this is Bobby Farrelly. He's directed this one. And then one of my favorite movies in the last few years was the Green Book, which I think Peter Farrelly was a part of. And it's just, it's fun to watch these guys becoming something special with different kinds of films now. So you're definitely going to want to see that trailer again. We'll link it at the end. At our house, everything's just clicking along. Katie's getting stuff ready to ship out to her parents for Christmas, and they'll, of course, ship their stuff to us, which is nice. But we have a couple of signs that it's officially the holidays. One is we buy a big tin of Williams-Sonoma peppermint bark, and I'm getting nothing for saying this. I just talk about Williams-Sonoma and Pottery Barn a lot.
Yeah, because you're in there all the time.
Well, Katie works there, so we're there a lot. But I think it's the best. I used to think Kirkland at Costco, which is much cheaper, was the best, and it's delicious, but Williams-Sonoma, I don't know what they do with this stuff.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe they sprinkle some crack or cocaine in there.
Hey, I'm all for that.
I know I feel good after I eat it. So anyway, we cracked that tin, and so that's one of the signs. I think I already mentioned in one of our shows previously, we already had Lethal Weapon under our belt.
Nice.
So we're doing the kind of Christmassy movies that both diehards, 1 and 2, excellent to see. So those are some definite signs. And then we watched one, I don't know if you've seen it or not, or if you care. I know that people are hot or cold on Will Ferrell. You either love him or hate him. But Spirited on Apple TV. I had my doubts as well, but we had a couple of drinks and turned it on, and I got to say, I loved it.
Okay.
Super feel good, super fun. We've talked about this before. Everybody kind of takes their own stab at a Christmas Carol in their own way. I think this is a really interesting and unique take that they've done. Ryan Reynolds is great. Will Ferrell is great. Their chemistry together. Now, it's a musical.
Oh.
They break into song, not a ton, but there's 3 or 4 songs in there. I love that. I was a theater guy. Musicals my whole life. So if it's not for you, maybe that shines you away. But,
okay for Lily?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
If she can watch Smile, which is super creepy and scary and gross, she can definitely watch Spirited. Give it a chance. It's not. I don't think it's going to be like a classic that's going to live on in history for 100 years, but it's a very good movie, and the balls on Will Ferrell to have made Elf, which is now a Christmas classic, whether you like it or not, to come back and say, no, I'm going to do another Christmas movie. Strong.
Yeah. That's kind of like if Clint Eastwood come back and said, I'm going to do another Western.
Just like that. Yeah, no, why would you do that? But this actually, I thought, turned out pretty great. So if you're looking for new Christmas content, if you have Apple TV, you might give it a shot. Okay, so that brings us to our special guest. We are so excited to have this young lady on the show with us. Talked to her a few days ago, Angie K from The Voice, and really that was season 10, so she's definitely moved on from that and is doing a ton of stuff on her own.
And in the music community in Nashville, hearing a lot of buzz about her for the past couple years, actually.
Yeah, so a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun catching up. We hope you'll enjoy this. Watch for the moment in the interview where we have a realization about each other, and the connection is real, man. We are so excited. When we started this channel very recently, one of the big things we wanted to do was make sure we had a chance to feature artists who are out there working, doing great things, and hopefully you've definitely heard of this young lady because she's got like a gazillion streams, but we want to get her on here and just do a little feature. Angie K is joining us now on the show. Angie, what's up?
Not much. It's great being home. I just got back from Turks and Caicos, which is pretty wild, and it's been pretty amazing.
Nice beauty drop there. I love that place.
So gorgeous. We're so thrilled that you're on the show. We appreciate it. So let's dive in. I know a lot of people know you because, you were someone who was featured heavily on The Voice, season 10. And some people, we've talked to a lot of artists who appeared on those shows, Voice, American Idol. Some love it. Some thought it was a great blessing. And some I wouldn't say it's a curse necessarily, but some were like, I don't know if it really did anything for me. What was your experience like there? And I know you've talked about this a lot, but.
Gosh, no, I love talking about that show. The Voice was absolutely incredible. Before that point, my first ever gig, like playing music full time, was on cruise ships, and I told them I knew like 300 songs. I knew maybe 50. I'd only played dive bars in Georgia up until that point. I worked at a salvage yard, like a car, place where we tore apart the cars. So I really was out of my element. And when I got on that ship, I started learning songs, and I ended up learning like 2,000 songs because I didn't know I could say no to requests. So I would just learn the song the next day. And then when I got home, I would start doing these bar tours around the South. And that's when The Voice kind of found me. So at that point, I was making a living doing music at that point, touring. And so The Voice for me was like gasoline on a fire, because I already had some stuff going for me. And I think if you come in out the gate the shock of how fast you rise, it's easy to think it's going to stay there, you know? And I think that mentally and psychologically, when it comes down, if you haven't like, if you're not prepared for it and know how much work it is to get people to shows, and, you know, it's like, it feels like magic, especially now with like TikTok and stuff, you get, you know, 100,000 followers. It's easy if you've never done it before to assume, yeah, I could sell out, you know, a 700 person room in Nashville, but I had already experienced the 7 people and then growing it to like, you know, 100 and then growing that to 300 and how big those jumps are. So for me, it was like massive to be on the show because I really was, I had an appreciation for it. I'd felt the pain of how hard it was to reach every person individually touring. So I think that perspective really helped me enjoy it. And I didn't have any kids, you know, depending on me or a mortgage. So there was a lot of things that enabled me to really take so much from that show. And Blake is just a freaking blast, man. He's just like you think. He's like insanely tall and he smells like whiskey. Like that's just exactly what you think.
I've kissed him on the mouth, believe me.
Yeah, that's true. There's a photo we'll throw up of that.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now, how long was your NDA you had to sign with Blake to not let it out that he lip syncs?
You know, we did have to sign an NDA because Gwen was on the show. Gosh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I don't care. What are they gonna do? Like, I don't have enough money to them to sue me. But
yeah, he's leaving the show.
Oh, they don't care about my money. No, but they were. She was advising, and they had to sign an NDA that I didn't really understand at the time. And now looking back, I realize it was to not leak that they were together. Though I actually didn't get the impression that they were. Also, I was probably really focused on myself at the time. But yeah, she was an advisor on it. And honestly, I wasn't as nervous to meet Blake, but when I met Gwen, I was surprised myself with how nervous I got around her because she's just, you know, she's Gwen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how that goes. I think, you know, country stars are so approachable anyway. I know on our side of the business, we certainly got that. And then for some reason, you know, those pop stars, those rock stars are they're bigger than life. And it's weird because Garth is bigger than life, but he's still really easy to talk to. It's weird. He
really is. Yeah. It's been my experience here too. I mean, it's just so not intimidating. Like if you've ever been to New York or LA in that music scene, there's always this tiny undercurrent of competition. And it may be because I didn't spend enough time there to get like my gang, you know, but from the beginning in Nashville, I look back, I mean, Jesse Frazier, you know, went out. Jesse Frazier, if you aren't from Nashville, he's one of the most massive producer and songwriters in town. He's probably done most of Thomas Rhett's stuff and a handful of other artists, and he's just incredible. He gets like 3 number ones a year for the last like 5 years, and he had co-written a song with Thomas Rhett called "Real Talk," along with Nicole Gallion and Hillary Lindsay, who are also all stars. And I just loved it. It had a little bit of a Latin flair. And not only did they let me record it, but Jesse offered to produce it and like put together the whole team for it so that we could put it out. I mean, it was just out of pure kindness. Like, and I'm not worthy of a Thomas Rhett song, you know, like, especially at that time. And, you know, even when you come into the city, you have a little bit of a, just wait till they discover me feeling, you know? And even with that coming into the city, when I was a lot younger, I still got so much kindness, and it's the reason why we're able to give it to people that come up. You know, when I meet somebody new to town, like ready to take over, I don't get offended by it. I enjoy it. I'm like, I love that. I love that you have that drive, and let's write together next Tuesday, you know? And, the people that really love it, they stick around and they become the kind of friends that you just never let go of.
And speaking of the friendly factor and everything, we were kind of shocked when we learned the fact that Jake Owen was helpful to you, because we've known Jake for many, many years.
And he's never been helpful to us.
He's never been nice, ever. No. So how did that come to be? How did it end up that he was part of this process for you?
Jake and Keith and Ando, who's one of Jake's right hand guys, they all just happened to really like what I was doing. And they, you know, they definitely encouraged me to move to Nashville, and they set me up so many things. Like I said, they even worked as a manager capacity for quite a while for me to help me out. And they're the ones that set up the meeting with Jesse Frazier. They're the one that pushed my name to all the labels and got me introduced to some huge people in Nashville that, again, gave me their time. I mean, I got to sit down with, BOC, the head of Live Nation, for an hour, thanks to just a meeting that they had introduced me to CMA, and then CMA introduced me to him. And there's so many people I was able to meet because somebody said, hey, maybe pay attention to this girl. And because of that, like, it's just, it's invaluable. You know, I was able to come into this town and immediately do things because of that.
Well, that's so cool to hear too, because in all honesty, Jake, Ando, and Keith, they love music and they are kind, and I love hearing those kind of stories because it is a cutthroat business too.
Yeah,
it is.
So
it's
those
really
stories
tough.
always make me feel good.
there's decent people out there.
Yeah,
it is true though that I think the cutthroat comes from it's an emotional business. You know, like it's funny. So recently, this is such a weird thing to talk about, but recently, I have been in the room as a writer where I wasn't the artist. And it was a little bit of a taste of my own medicine in a way, because every artist goes in with their songwriters thinking like, I'm going to make the money because I'm the artist and I'm going to put out the song. But the truth is that an independent artist, they don't really get paid that much from that work. Even if I got, 3 or 4 million streams, which is a great successful single, they're not getting that much from that. So sitting in that room, I kind of already knew that a little bit, but I always, like every artist, think, but this next single's really going to hit, And there's this little bit of like I think that it was the first time I realized how much my songwriters have done for me, that are my close friends, have done for me in the past by taking as many rights as they have with me. And like I said, like my biggest enemy will always be my ego, and I'm always going to be wrestling it to the ground, as an artist. But that was definitely a little bit of a taste of like, wow, I didn't even come close to appreciating them as much as I think I should have. Just being in the room as a songwriter instead of a writer, and little moments like that, they really help you grow. And you can't do that outside this town, Like I never would have flown here for a write as a songwriter, not an artist, So it's like just being here and people pulling you into rooms, you get to just broaden your ability to be creative, and you never feel like there's a lack of ideas or a lack of creativity,
When you first got to town, and of course you'd already done it, you had experience, you've been performing, you've been doing music, but what was something that that surprised you about Nashville? Something you weren't expecting, something you were like, really?
Is it how cool pedal taverns are?
Gosh, guarantee you it's not that.
What I love is watching the pedal taverns go by, and there's always like one girl that's just not gonna pedal. Like she's just like, everyone else is like pedaling, and she's just like sipping her beer, like she's already drunk. It's just started. Like, you guys will get me there.
Say there's always one girl who's already hanging off the rail, because that's what I usually see. It's like,
well, that's where things are going. We make fun of pedal taverns, but have you ever done one? They're actually really fun.
I think they're really fun, except but the problem is 90% of the time I'm behind one. I just want to get where I'm going.
And I know Nashville
That'll
has no
do it.
traffic problems.
Yeah. That'll do it. Actually, one of the biggest things I found in Nashville that was surprising was it has a really good like LGBTQIA scene. I don't know how many other letters are on there, but all of them included.
Yes.
But it's there's, I didn't know this, but there's actually only 25 lesbian bars in the country, and Nashville is probably one of the best ones, I think.
Only 25?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Really?
Only 20. I know. I thought there'd be a lot more. But yeah, it's actually just what's funny is it's very much a mixed crowd. Like, believe it or not, you don't have to be gay to get in. They don't like check. Yeah, no, you can just come in and support the bar. But it actually has some of the best music I've heard too. Like they have really good nights where people come in, like writers' rights and stuff like that, and that's super fun. It's called Lipstick Lounge, appropriately.
I know both my daughters, who are not gay but who are around, they've flirted around with all those kind of things. They both have gone there and they love it. One of my daughters
It's fun.
is her age, so
And I can't remember if
that's
that's the
awesome.
bar or not, but Casey Musgraves had an album release party at one of those places, and I remember being in there that night and being like, "This is
Big
kinda cool."
artists.
we always like to ask people what the surprise was, and I love that one. That's what a pleasant surprise. Luke Combs was one of my favorite ones too. He goes, "Man, I got to town and I was just blown away by how these people are they're working, they're doing the thing, but they go out every night." And he was like, "Man, I just couldn't do it. I didn't have the energy for that."
That's so true. I can't go out every single night. I really, really like getting up early and working out and stuff. What's really cool is I think, gosh, people are going to hate me if you're from the South and you hear me say this, but I think that there's a trend of like things that happen in California, like trends that happen in California tend to make their way across country. And I lived in California for a little bit in this little surfer town called Encinitas. And I noticed
Oh, we're
that.
from San
We
Diego.
lived in San Diego
Oh.
for 20 years.
No way.
We worked at KSON for 15 years. We did the
Oh, I
morning show
love
out there.
KSON, John Tammy.
Yes.
Yes, we helped.
Oh,
them get that
yeah.
gig, actually.
They were the first radio show I was ever on.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
had me come
Encinitas
in
the
for
Wolf.
that like Write a Tune Tuesday. Actually, that's a funny story. So, a buddy of mine asked me to sub in for him at this radio show that they were gonna do in the morning. We finished up a gig late at night, and I was like, "Yeah, totally, I want to be on the radio." So I show up at John and Tammy's, and it turns out it's like a Write a Tune Tuesday type thing. So like I have to write a song about like current events that people call up and say you have to write about this.
Yeah.
And gosh, when I say it was a disaster, well, okay, they probably wouldn't call it a disaster. I'm sure there's people that were worse than me, but like, to me, it was like I'm sitting there, I waltz in, and remember, I had a little bit of it. I had at least more of an ego than I do now back then, and I like waltz in thinking like I'm gonna wow these people, and I just play the worst song I've ever played in my life, and it was just like. I thought I was never going to get called back, but I guess they found me amusing, so they invited me back, and I walked in with a little more humility the next time. But yeah, John and Tammy put me on the radio first ever, and it was a little surprise at 6 a.m. to realize I was going to write a song in like 15 minutes.
Oh, they're good people. Now, what was the Nickel Creek loved the place we got the burritos from in Encinitas. I can't think of the
Like
name of it.
Filberto's or Roberto's.
It could be.
Yeah.
The place I remember from Encinitas the most is Loose Records because I spent thousands of dollars on records there. But
Yeah.
I hear
So,
Jewel
we
used to
interrupted
play
you.
in the
I'm sorry.
parking lot there, which is crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. I mean, they've
Yeah.
had some incredible people there. Well, we interrupted you. I'm sorry. You said when you were living in Encinitas, the trends that travel from California to Tennessee. Sorry for the aside.
Oh yeah, just that like I think like the whole mocktail and not like drinking as much is gonna be less of a thing, which I'm already seeing in country music because like I'll be in writing rooms and I'll be like, I saw this really funny meme the other day that was like, you know that like tape that you can put on and anything and like fix your outdoor pool with that they
Yes.
advertise all the time. Well, they had like. You know, the picture of the pool cracking and the water falling out. And then they have this guy with this tape, just slap it on and it just stops. Right. And the meme is like him slapping that on. And it's like songwriters when they use the word baby. Cause like when you don't have something to fit, you just throw the word baby in there. Yeah. But like beer is kind of similar, like saying a beer, sipping on something or, you know, and I realized that that's a really easy thing to do and it's fun, but like it's kind of fun to challenge it a little bit. And I think because streaming has kind of opened up the world to not just listening to music when you're driving, like when you're wanting to sleep in on a Sunday, when it's raining outside, like it opens the door to a little more acoustic, a little bit deeper thoughts. And like, even like, you know, people like to like joke, Luke Bryan uses it all the time. Drink a Beer is probably one of the best songs ever written. And it's not because it has the word beer in it. It's every part of the song it was very different and very cool. And I think that, like pulling out drinking being like the activity of the song is starting to cause some really cool songs to be written. I like Mitchell Tenpenny has some really cool stuff. Gosh, Ingrid Andress, really just some great songwriting. I met her. You know how CMA has the Teachers of Excellence thing?
Yes.
And she was wearing Vans and this like bright orange suit. And I'm a huge fan of Ingrid Andress. And I didn't realize it was her. I saw the back of her and she's wearing Vans. And I was like, she's got to be from California. So I like walk over and I was like, hey, are you from California? She turns around and sees me. And I have this like split second of like, do I tell her I know her? Do I tell her I've listened to her music for the last 5 years? And I was like, no, I'm just going to stick with the original story. Are you from California? And she's like, oh, actually, no, I'm from Colorado. I was like, cool. And so then I saw her later and I said like, oh, it's Colorado. And then she happened to be right behind me at the red carpet for CMA. And gosh, I'm just like, I didn't know what to do. So I just like avoided her. I'm such a loser when it comes to like social cues. I don't know what to do when I make a like mistake like that. Cause now I'm like, how do I be like, actually, I know you really well. Like there's no entrance for that. Right.
Yeah. No, you can't smoothly make that transition. Yeah.
No. So I'm just like, I'm just going to keep pretending I don't know who you are, I guess. But Ingrid, if you hear this, please don't think I'm weird.
Nah. She already thinks you agreed to appear on this show.
Yeah.
She thinks you're weird. I can promise.
Oh, there you go. Good point.
Are you ready for the holidays? You ready for Christmas? You got shopping done? Do you have anything that you like have to do each year? That you're like, this is my thing.
Well, I have a really big family, so we do Secret Santa, so it's nice because I only have to buy like one gift, and then I always get something for my parents. And then I like to get stuff for my team members, though, like just people that have done. I do something for like the songwriters and like my business manager is Becky Harris, who also does business management for Kane Brown, and she happens to be Chris Young's mom too, and she's such
Our
a
business
badass.
manager as well.
She's
She's amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, she is like probably one of the intensely nice people I've ever met. I think that's the right way to describe her. She's like intensely nice because like she's like mama. So like she'll like, you know, if she wants you to do something, there's like caring, but there's also like, but do it, you know? And I love that about her. And she has truly like she happened to bring my name up in a really big meeting, and I can't announce what it is yet, but it got me in something that's really big. And I don't know how that's possible because I'm the only one, not only without a label, but without a manager or an agent. And I just don't know how I got it other than like her bringing my name up and constantly putting my name around town. So I got to get her something, and that's going to be the hardest gift, I think, for me. Because how do you give something to someone that cares that much, never asks for anything, and just believes in you? Like it's unbelievable. And those people you find in Nashville, and they're just kind, and it makes you want to make it just so that maybe you can give somebody the feeling that they gave you, you know? But I guess that's what the holidays are about.
It is, and I love that attitude, and you couldn't be more spot on about Becky, for sure. I mean,
And if she could just come out of that shell a little bit, then I really think she would.
Have
be
you seen her
unstoppable.
ballroom dance dresses?
Oh yes.
It's about as out of the shell as you could get. I feel like I love that she ballroom dances. It inspires me. Honestly, I had this Uber driver, and his name was Dave, and he has a dance class in Nashville, and I ended up following on Instagram, and he posts about them all the time, and he's actually a great dancer, and they're only like $20 classes, and I have been wanting to do this now for like 2 years, and I like always like and comment on his posts all the time. We basically know each other at this point, and I still haven't done it. And it's like she's like one of the best ballroom dancers like in the country. It's one of those things that you always say you're gonna do it, and you never do.
I need to do.
I
that
will
for
this
a date
maybe
night with my
2023.
wife. She wants me to dance so bad.
I'll send you Dave's channel.
Okay, I'm all about it.
It's funny.
oh man, well, we are so excited for you, and it sounds like great things are happening, and we love meeting people who are in your position, who are just hustling, and you're doing your thing, and you're getting people excited about what you're doing, and you just keep putting out great art. Let's make sure everybody knows where to find all that great stuff. Now, of course, you've got the official website. We've got that up. We'll get that up on the screen here. Your YouTube channel, we've already subscribed, and of course, I know many others will want to do that as well. You've got music out there where folks can stream you, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever. What's the latest song that you're out there giving us a taste of?
I just put out a song that I'm really excited about. If you ever wanted to hear what I think is like a real true fusion of Latin American rhythms with country music, I think I found it. It took me a while. I did this at a studio in Miami and in Nashville. I worked with Bad Bunny's drummer Lee Levin. I mean, I spent a lot of time. I'm from El Salvador, so I grew up in Central America. I speak fluent Spanish, hablo español. And so I like really wanted to fuse authentically what I grew up with, and I felt like all I heard was a reggaeton and country music, and I wanted it. What reggaeton is like rap Spanish stuff, like hip hop, like what hip hop would be in the U.S. And I'm like, there's like 18 other like massive genres in Latin music, including cumbia, bachata, merengue, mariachi. And I wanted to try to like fuse something in a very specific way. And it took me a long time. And this is a very long-winded way of saying, if you want to dance, listen to That Kind of Night, my last record. And if you don't dance, I'll Venmo you $20. Because that was the whole point. The whole point was just to do something that'll get people to move, like the music that I grew up with, and those rhythms are such a part of like my soul that it makes me so happy to finally have them in a song.
That's awesome. Well, fantastic. Well, everybody's going to be hearing it. We're going to link it in the description. And gosh, Angie, thank you again for taking the time. Appreciate you so much. Hope you have a wonderful holiday. Hope it's a great time with family. And here's to a killer 2023.
I love it. Y'all too. We're gonna do some Dave's dance lessons in 2023.
I'm all about it.
Totally.
I like it.
We're in. All right. Take care. Thanks so much.
See you.
See you guys.
How cool is she?
Yeah, she's great. Everybody follow her, especially on TikTok. Her TikToks are great.
Yeah, TikToks are awesome. We'll link all of her channels, everything in the description, so you can check all those out and check her out. Thanks again to Angie for being on the show. That brings us to the last list. Couple of things we just wanted to mention that we're not spending a ton of time on. Of course, I mentioned earlier, Katie packing up the stuff and getting it shipped off to her parents. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. She's a procrastinator, and I am too, so I can't point fingers. but she waited way too long, and she ended up spending more on the shipping of her parents' gifts than it cost to buy the gifts for them. And she was like, I'm never doing that again. So she's already got everything going, and
Good
she's
for her.
going to get it out. If you are one of those people and you've kind of been waiting, you do have deadlines. UPS, the Postal Service, FedEx, they all give you a deadline of when you have to get that stuff out if you want it to arrive by Christmas. And because we're helpful guys, we're putting a link down in the descriptions to all those places so you can go and check out the pages and see what your deadline is.
And also on the Amazon website, they have a suggestion for what you do with all the boxes your gifts come in.
Oh,
How you can reuse them, repurpose them, or get them back to someone that will recycle them.
excellent. Yeah, I mean, it's such an easy thing to do, and it helps the environment, saves people money. Why not do that? I mentioned a while back that Yellowstone I love the show, but it's turning me off. And I said, they're almost
Have
over.
faith. Have faith.
I don't have faith. They did the exact thing I said. I said they're borderline getting ready to go into Dallas or Dynasty mode, where they're going to have them out fighting in the pool or something. Almost that exact thing happened.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're throwing a throwback. It was a nod.
It's not a nod. It's crap.
Well, he's going to push us to the edge and then bring us back. I trust Taylor, the writer of that show.
I'd love to, but he pushed me over. I already honestly struggled with the show because of all the animal stuff. And I know these things happen, and I get it. But they seem like they just revel in giving us a 10-minute music video where they brand animals, and I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that. I mean, I know what happens. I don't want to be a part of it. I want to be a witness to it. And then now with the character Beth, and I think you read the review, and I saw it too, where they called the last episode
The
or
worst
2 episodes
ever.
ago. Yeah, the worst, and I have to agree.
I hate it. I'm 2 episodes behind. So
I'm done. So Katie's going to make me watch one more. Unless
Good.
they really wrote me in, I'm just done. Because all I can think about now is, why does this family put up with Beth?
don't let him out, Katie. Yellowstone will be back. I believe in it.
Mr. Happy over here. Mr. I've got a heart now. I like soft holiday commercials now. Who are you?
Oh, don't pick on me.
I don't even know you anymore. All this time.
You know what? Now I got to go out and brand an animal just to show you I'm tough.
I'm still tough. Yeah, you wouldn't know what to do. Which end of this thing goes on the...
Exactly.
Yeah. And then finally, some sad celebrity passings. We're a little late on this, but Noodle the Pug, maybe not a celebrity to you, but 14 million TikTok followers, or how many? I think something like it's a crazy number. He was the dog who his owner every day would wake up and say, let's see if it's going to be a bones day or a no bones day. And he would pick him up out of his bed, and if he just flopped back down, that's a no bones day. And then the warning was, it's like a horoscope. Don't try anything big today. Don't take any chances.
Okay.
It's not going to be a great day. And if he stood him up and he stayed on his feet, that's a bones day. That's a great day to get out there and chase your dreams and do those things.
We should try to do one of those things with some of our pets. Bailey or one of your pets or something.
Yeah, I mean, I could do it with a cat maybe. Nobody else will let me pick them up. They're all so big.
Gotcha.
We have big dogs, and if I try to pick up Henry, I'd lose an arm, even though he loves me. And then Bob McGrath from Sesame Street.
Oh, part of our childhood gone.
I mean, if you watch Sesame Street, he was like an original cast member. He's been on there the whole time.
Again, we would have celebrities on the show out in San Diego all the time. And I mean, movie stars, Sylvester Stallone, Kevin Costner, whoever. And they're on, and we'd be like, oh, that was cool. Bob McGrath was on, and you would have thought we had the greatest actor of all time on. We were so excited. It was like, oh, you taught me part of my alphabet. You know, just so excited.
It's, the gig is fun. What we get to do is really fun, but it's especially cool when you meet or talk to a childhood hero, and they end up being everything you hope they would
like
be.
when we talked to Captain Kangaroo, I was going to lose it.
I mean, come on. And then finally, Kirstie Alley, I know that was big in the news, passed away from cancer. Great actress, one of your first crushes.
Yes, Star Trek 2. I was like, oh, who's this?
She was lovely.
Yeah, and I think obviously we'll all agree her top 3 performances are Look Who's Talking 1, Look Who's Talking 2, and the one where the dogs were talking and the baby talked.
Look Who's Talking 3?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, perfect. Summer School, and of course Cheers, where she replaced a very strong character who people
And
really
made it better.
enjoyed and made it better. I mean, how do you pull that off?
She was great.
Really something. So I kind of hate the way her whole life went near the end. She kind of went a little whatever.
Recluse.
But man, as far as an actor, she was fantastic, no doubt about it. And then one last thing here before we say goodbye, we got this really cool comment, and it's why you do stuff like this. And I mean, I know we're just a small channel just getting started, so when we see comments like this, it really lets us know, oh man, it's exciting to see where this is going to go.
And while you pull that comment up, we appreciate all your comments. Feel free to leave them anytime. And also, please share. We need as many people to grow this channel as we can.
Got to get people watching, got to get people subscribing. You know how it is. Just trying to get this thing moving.
So we appreciate your help.
Absolutely. Always looking for your input, too. Stuff you'd like us to do on the show, things you'd like to see, guests you'd like to see. We'll do our best to make those things happen. So this comment came up. We did an episode I don't know, whenever it was. And a big part of it was Cocaine Bear.
Yes, Cocaine Bear. Can't wait.
And so we got this comment, man, I was searching for videos about Cocaine Bear and you guys appeared. I'm loving the content and it's amazing to discover you guys at less than 900 subscribers. Cheering for you to grow. I'm from Brazil and you guys reached me. Congrats.
Aw, that's awesome.
Michelle Music. I think that's amazing.
And cheering for us to grow. I love that.
I love the YouTube community. I see so many comments on videos, tutorials and stuff, which we're watching a ton of all these people saying, hey, keep at it, keep going. We're excited for you. We want to help you grow. And that's what we're looking for. It's such a rare thing in our line of work to find nurturing people who want to help you do, successful things.
Yeah.
So that means a lot. We appreciate you watching. Again, all those things we talked about during the show in the descriptions. Thanks again to Angie K for being on the show with us.
She's fantastic.
Get out there, stream some of her music. She's got an EP out there, a new single that we talked about during the interview. Really appreciate her being here. And appreciate you being here, too. If you want to see that Champions trailer with Woody Harrelson, just click the link on the screen there. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next time.